Hello guys, welcome to Healthy Living at workoutmaster.com. Today, as per your request, we have a couple different episodes that we're going to be featuring breakfast foods. And this is going to be the first of a few that we're going to prepare for you guys. The one that we have in mind right now, I want to show you how to make a quiche. A quiche is a very traditional breakfast or brunch food. And the way that I want to show you how to make it is going to be quite simple. And yet at the same time, I want you to use everything that is being left over the week in your refrigerator as the filling that we're gonna use for the quiche. So to make the crust, first we need a fairly medium to large size potato, 2 tablespoons of butter, and 1 egg just to make the crusting. Then on the same part as I go through it, I'll show you how to make the filler, which we're gonna be use some of the same ingredients, but in a larger quantity to create the filler inside. So stay tuned. The first thing that I've done is that a potato that I just showed you, I'm gonna shred it down with a shredder. It could be something fancy or not fancy. This is a pretty run-of-the-mill shredder, and you're gonna shred all the potato down. And I want you to use a colander and rinse it really good to get rid of as much starch as you can out of it. Then after that, what I need you to do is to, with a paper towel or anything else that you have similar to it, I want you to dry it up as much as you can, so you are actually absorbing all the water that you can of the potato. So it's nice and dried. It will turn out to be a very crispy crust for the quiche. Next, I grab some of the butter and I'm gonna grease the dish that we're gonna use for the quiche thoroughly. So I wanna make sure that nothing sticks to it. So what I'm doing is just grabbing some of that butter and cover everything. The rest of the butter is gonna be melted, and I'll show you how I would mix the rest of the butter with the potato and with the rest of the ingredients as we prepare the crust. So we have the potatoes ready. Now we just need 1 egg. We're gonna beat it lightly. Good, and we're gonna dump it right with the potatoes. The rest of that melted butter is gonna go with it. I wanna make sure that I get it all in there. We're gonna add salt. And then I'm gonna mix it all really well together. This way, what we're actually trying to accomplish is to avoid using any type of grains or any heavy starch, flour of any kind, when we're making this quiche. Alright, so now let's put it inside of the dish that we're going to prepare the quiche on. So we just dump it all in there. And what I'm going to do is just spread it into a thin coat, nice and even. Covering the corners, getting to the edges, so when I put the rest of the ingredients, it will come out nice and pretty and evenly distributed. Now, this has to go into the oven at 400 degrees around 20 to 25 minutes, depending on how well your oven will distribute the weight, until it gets golden brown. And while that's going on in the oven, we'll prepare the rest of the ingredients that we're gonna put in to later finalize it, put everything in the oven and cooking everything together for the remainder time until it's ready. Now, while we have the crust getting baked in the oven, what we're gonna use is all the leftovers, like I mentioned before, that you had in your refrigerator, because they're gonna be perfectly good to make the filler for the quiche. So, for example, guys, this is what I have here. These carrots, as funny as they look, these are the carrots that I used the other day to make the carrot pasta. So what I'm gonna do is finish shredding them up and actually add them into the bowl where I will make all the mix for the quiche. I got some scallions, I got some shallots. I'll need about 5 eggs. I'll have some grape tomatoes. Over here I have some leftover dinner from yesterday, which is some more carrots with some shrimp, and I have some caramelized onion with a little bit of potato that we had made the other day to go with the shrimp and the carrots. So I'm gonna mix it all together. I'm gonna cut everything, mix it up, and show you how it gets prepared. Good, now we have the eggs, which it was 5 of them. Everybody come over here. We're gonna add a little salt to them. I'm just gonna beat them a little bit. Some green onions. And the good thing about these guys is like use all your leftovers. There's no reason why food has to go to waste. That's, in my opinion, a big no-no. Now I have some cherry tomatoes that I'm gonna cut in half because we're gonna use them. It's gonna add flavor, it's gonna add color, so it has a much better presentation. And don't forget that oftentimes we also eat with our eyes, so it's make sure that you add a nice color to your food. Now we're gonna cut our shallot. And this could be cut into very thin slices, into little dice, whatever your preference is. I'm just gonna chop them roughly after I cut some slices. Whatever your taste is. Since you're gonna be the one eating it, you make it however you like it. Once you have your eggs beaten, the first step to make the mix that is gonna go as the filler, we're gonna add some cottage cheese, and you're gonna fluff it up. It's gonna give the whole texture and the whole flavor and feeling to the quiche that it actually looks like a quiche. So there we go. We have here about half a cup, maybe a tiny bit more. That should take of it. And now I'm gonna beat it all together. So now to the mixture of the egg of the cottage cheese, let's add all the ingredients that we have been preparing. These are the carrots that we already shredded, shallots, green onions. Yeah, I'm not gonna put all of them, just, leftover dinner, carrots and shrimp, and some caramelized onions with roasted potatoes that we had there too. Now the little tomatoes, the cherry tomatoes that I have, what I'm gonna do is at the end, when I dump it inside of the container where all the crust is made, I'm gonna put it in top, so they will be a little bit more decorative as opposed to just mixing them with the rest of the stuff like I've done here. So guys, as you can see, some of the crust kind of slid down. I think I used a little too much butter, so just be more, a little bit more reserved with the amount of butter that you're gonna use. And also you can make it crustless. So I'm just doing it this way so you guys can see. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna dump in the filler that we made. Now I'm gonna add the tomatoes that I had cut earlier, and I want it to be at the edge all around it. So they want to display them in the surface, so that's why I decided not to mix them with the rest of the other stuff. Now it goes back into the oven for another 20 minutes at the same temperature, 400 degrees. So here you have it, guys. This is what it looks like once your leftover quiche is out of the oven. You use every single morsel of food that you consume and you save everything. You ask us for a breakfast recipe and here you have them. If you have quiche, your future looks better already. If you share this recipe with your friends and family, also their future begins to look better too. Until the next time, have a lot of fun and keep on cooking.